Okay, all right. I think we are good to begin now. Again, namaste and a very warm welcome, everyone, to today's session. My name is Ishita and I'm from Team Wellcure, and I'll be supporting Dr. Prashanthi with the operational management for today's session. We still have a few people joining in the session currently, so we'll be starting in the next minute or so. Until then, I would like to introduce you all to our platform, Wellcure. So, Wellcure is a digital natural healing platform where we educate and we conduct workshops related to natural living, natural healing. On the website, actually, we have a number of features for you to explore. So if you are a nature cure enthusiast like us, you can go to the body wisdom section where there are several blogs which you can go through and read through, which are talking about how to live a more sustainable natural life. We have a good repository of over 1,000 recipes, which are based on the principle of plant-based eating and cooking. They are oil-free, some of them dairy-free, all of them dairy-free. Some of them are gluten-free, and you can definitely check them out. They're all very, very tasty. We also have a health journey section. So if you're looking for some inspiration, we have stories of people who have healed through some chronic conditions simply by adopting nature's way of living. Apart from that, there are also some self-paced e-learning courses which you can explore, which are also in alignment with the principles of nature. So the website is www.wellcure.com. We also have a mobile app. You can go ahead and download that as well. So a few points to remember before we begin so that we have a smooth running session. Would request everyone to stay on mute. We've actually disabled the microphone so that we don't have any disturbance. But if you have anything to communicate, you can drop it in the chat and we will take it up as and when possible. Also, we would request you to completely focus your attention on the webinar because lots of interesting facts and also very useful information will be shared. So we wouldn't want you to miss out on anything. And also we'll be taking up questions towards the end. So if you have anything that you wish to ask Dr. Prashanthi, please put it in the chat, we'll take it up. We would request you to stay within the realm of the topic being discussed here. And feel free to take down notes, although the recording of the session will also be available. I would also like to quickly take you through the agenda for today. So today we will be obviously talking about the various aspects of diabetes from nature's perspective, natural healing. So I will be starting with tackling the root cause, reversal of diabetes with nature cure. We'll be also doing some myth busting, lots of myths related to diabetes. So putting across some facts. We have some beautiful reversal stories of diabetes, which also will serve as inspiration. And also lastly, we will also be taking you through a 3-step plan so that you can all start your journeys towards the reversal of diabetes. In the end, we will be taking up questions. All right. So at this point, I'm really, really happy to introduce you all to Dr. Prashanthi. She is the expert for the session. So she is an MBBS, MD, 18 plus years of experience in internal medicine. She is also a nature cure practitioner, and she beautifully blends the two sciences together. And we really, grateful to have her here for this session. So this is all from my end now. Thank you so much, everyone. Dr. Prashanthi, welcome to the session and over to you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm really grateful to see such a huge attendance today. And I hope I can live up to the expectations of today. I'm thankful to Wellcure for providing me this opportunity to provide all this experience and everything. But I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm trained in internal medicine. I graduated in 2004, and then I went on to do cardiology fellowship. I'm still working as a cardiologist. I do both internal medicine and cardiology in my practice. So most of what I have learned is this 18-year, like this medical school and all these big, huge textbooks. Then I went through a health crisis myself. My daughter had an issue. If you want, you can check it out on Wellcure website. That's when I started looking for real truth and answers. And then I met many nature cure practitioners. Prominent among them are Asha as well as Kalyan and all of them. They just provided me a few articles and important books in nature cure. That was it for me to have this it helped as an eye opener as well as a life-changing experience for me to to come on this platform and start talking about health and how health can be maintained. So today our topic is diabetes. We do topics on high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, thyroid, and all of them through Wellcure platform. But this one, diabetes is the most first and foremost of all these causes, because a lot of us are going through the same, the diagnosis of diabetes. And most of every other person I know is either on a diabetic medication, either oral, or they take insulin. So let's see how we can tackle this problem naturally without using any medications, and also live a life without any medicines. So diabetes prevalence, if you look at this one, because this is the current slide, so it's present across the world. 1 in 11 adults has diabetes. 1 in 2 adults with diabetes is unknown and undiagnosed. So in 1980s, its global prevalence was 4.7%. Now in 2014, it's almost doubled. And the thing is, we just know these people are diagnosed with it, but there are so many undiagnosed, because it's every other patient that's undiagnosed, either has a metabolic syndrome or pre-diabetes or whatever you want to call it. So they're all prone. So in next 4 or 5 years, they're going to become diabetic. They're going to be labeled as diabetes. So 1.6 million deaths are directly caused because of diabetes, and because of issues with sugars or heart attacks or anything. And another 2.2 million deaths are because of high blood sugars or any other thing. It's pretty much diabetes related. 75% of people with diabetes, they are like in India, like most of the Asian countries, they have diabetes because of their modern food habits, because of their industrialization, and then moving to urban areas and all those. So leading cause of death globally, when you look at tuberculosis, malaria, HIV and all, it's like diabetes is the leading cause. It's 1.6 million. So we're going to explain, this is just like, basic statistics, like WHO throws some, Diabetes Association throws some numbers. But the thing is, every other patient we see in the hospital is either has an issue with diabetes or a complication, or some other problem related to diabetes that has precipitated into some other issue. So we're going to explain in Nature Cure's view, like what exactly is diabetes is, and how we can relate each and everything that goes on in the natural way. So it kind of gives you an idea of what is happening to our body, where we can take it from there. So next slide. So what exactly is diabetes? We're going to show you in this short video. Most of you know what is diabetes by now, right? Like you know about pancreas, you know about insulin. Pancreas secretes this important hormone called insulin. And this insulin is the one that's kind of deregulated in the body. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, depending upon what you want to call, what kind of diabetes you want to call it as, and how the cells use it. So this is pretty much like, basic stuff everybody knows by now about diabetes. And then you all know diabetes mellitus means high sugar levels. Sugar levels are super high. So pretty much that's the basics. So let's go over this one. It's a 2-minute clip. So quickly, we're going to give you an overview of what exactly happens at pancreas level with insulin secretions, sugar levels, as well as at cellular level. Can you play it?
There are 2 main types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. They're different conditions, but they're both serious. There are some other rarer types of diabetes too. What all types of diabetes have in common is that they cause people to have too much glucose in their blood. But we all need some glucose. It's what gives us our energy. We get glucose when our bodies break down the carbohydrates that we eat or drink, and that glucose is released into our blood. We also need a hormone called insulin. It's made by our pancreas, and it's insulin that allows the glucose in our blood to enter our cells and fuel our bodies. If you don't have diabetes, your pancreas senses when glucose has entered your bloodstream and releases the right amount of insulin so the glucose can get into your cells. But if you have diabetes, this system doesn't work. When you've got type 1 diabetes, you can't make any insulin at all. If you've got type 2 diabetes, it's a bit different. The insulin you make either can't work effectively or you can't produce enough of it. In both types of diabetes, because glucose can't get into your cells, it begins to build up in your blood. And too much glucose in your blood causes a lot of different problems. To begin with, it leads to diabetes symptoms like having to wee a lot, being incredibly thirsty and feeling very tired. You may also lose weight, get infections like thrush, or suffer from slow healing wounds. Over a long period of time, high glucose levels in your blood can seriously damage your heart, your eyes, your feet, and your kidneys. These are known as the complications of diabetes. But with the right treatment and care, people can live a healthy life. And there's much less risk that someone will experience these complications. If you've got diabetes, you can find lots of information and support about
So it was a quick overview of diabetes. So pretty much all of us know what we showed you. So high glucose levels, initially, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a couple of years, at least a few decades, in order to end up with this full-blown pattern of diabetes. So initially, let's see what are the signs. There are kind of like multiple words that we use, multiple terminologies that we use in allopathy. So we call this as insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome. These are the initial telltale signs of, that you're going to be more prone for diabetes. That means high sugar levels and complications thereafter from high sugar levels. So have you ever, I don't know if the chats, the thing is open. I just wanted to be a little interactive, but we have a lot to present. So let's see. So acanthosis nigricans is it's a common thing that we all encounter initially whenever anybody ends up with diabetes in the long run. So what happens is the sun exposed areas like the patches on the neck, on the cheeks, on the forehead, most of the times, or underarms. It's kind of like wherever there is a lot of sweat accumulation, that's where the toxins are coming out. So that's where the toxins are coming out. So I don't know how to correct my voice at this point, but so this is so that's when all these patches of dark patches that kind of like show up on the neck. So most of the times it's sun exposed areas, so on the neck. So also you kind of end up seeing tags or big patches of moles that be kind of dark spots in the skin. These are initial signs. Our skin is a reflector of how our health has been doing. So initially, if you find all these signs, that means you are prone to having diabetes in the long run. So initially, these are indicators. So if you can catch these early and then take care of yourself, then it's really going to be a whole reversal of all the end organ damage and everything that happens with high levels of diabetes. Remember, acanthosis nigricans, this is a very important pattern. On the neck, on the cheek, you're going to see dark spots, much more darker than the usual skin pattern. And they are kind of like, you can't miss them. It's really important. If you spot it on anybody, just give them an indicator that tell them, hey, looks like you have insulin resistance. You're kind of like prone in the next you need to take care of yourself. That's the main idea. That's what it shows. Next slide. So potential warning signs of diabetes. So acanthosis nigricans, all the skin signs are there. And then slowly the toxemia, sugar levels build up, pancreas is kind of like functioning very hard. And then the insulin is being secreted, but then the cells have no way to use them. We're going to explain to you what happens at cellular level as we go through the program. So these patients experience increased frequency in urination, like every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes, they have to run to the bathroom. They're like, oh, we just went again. gain. So what they do is they stop drinking water because they don't want to go to the bathroom all the time. Then later on, it happens to be there, they get more and more urinary tract infections, candida infections, like a lot of itching in the vaginal area or in the private parts. That's again sugar, high sugar levels, and all these scavengers are just feeding on the sugar levels. So that's what happens with all the issues. Then extreme amounts of exhaustion because there is sugar everywhere, but then the cells are not able to use them because the cells are not able to respond to insulin levels anymore. And then there is unintentional weight loss because there is dehydration, when you're peeing out all the sugar and the water, and then the cells are starving at cellular level because there is not enough sugar. So there is going to be decent amount of unintentional weight loss and intense hunger and thirst because you're peeing it out a lot, the sugar is not being used. So they keep on eating, but then they feel fatigued and extremely tired. They're kind of lost at that point about what to do. And then again, the nerve problems do start, like there is tingling and numbness in the extremities because of high levels of sugar that are built up, as well as the acids that are forming in the system. And then whenever they cut, what happens is it takes forever for them to heal. It's kind of very obvious sign, like it's a glaring sign. Even a minor wound because of, chopping vegetables or something like that, they constantly have a big ulcer. It doesn't heal as usual. And because body, again, it fails to repair itself because of high toxin load in the system. So if anybody like who, I'm pretty sure you or your loved ones have diabetes, that's the reason why you guys are in this program today. So if anyone experienced these symptoms before you were labeled diabetic at that point, so yeah, let us know. But these are basic things like sugars are high and then the body is really not able to use them up. Then that's what happens at the body, at cellular level. Next slide. So major complications of diabetes. Anybody, do you or any of your loved ones have diabetes, end up with coronary artery stents? Did you ever have any kind of amputations done? Like amputations mean chopping up, or like because of infection of a finger. And then they had to they try to debride it, they try to debride it, but then the body doesn't heal or repair well. And then they amputate it off, like amputations of any kind of digits, any other surgical procedures or anything, because your sugar levels were so high that they had to they couldn't do anything. And then they had to just, amputate them. So majority of these complications are because of, high levels of sugar as well as acids that are circulating in the system. Eye problems are very, very common. Can we go back again? Yeah, eye problems are very, very common in them. Like you may have heard or you may have had laser done because of retinopathy. This is very common complication. Kidney problems, they diagnose with diabetes and then 10 years down the lane, they end up on dialysis. Then neuropathy, tingling, numbness, burning. This is something very, very common. They are put on multiple medications like B-complex vitamins, gabapentin. Nothing works for them. Like they can't walk, they can't do pretty much. The burning is like, as some of them describe to us, as if they're sitting in fire. That's what they say. And then brain, of course, strokes and dementia, it's very much common in them. And then heart issues in the form of heart attacks. Then microvascular complications at the level of heart. This is like a helpless situation for majority of the doctors because none of the medications work. Only thing that works is if the patient starts taking care of himself. That's when it happens, but that's when the things change around and then they start feeling better. Of course, heart failure, bypass surgeries, they're just going up day by day. Every second you hear about it because they're all related to diabetes and the toxemia that's associated with it. And peripheral vascular disease, in the form of they can't walk, they don't have proper circulation. Then they have all these ulcers because they can't heal their wounds. And then they end up with amputations. This is like everyday scenario for me at work. And then I just hopelessly watch each and everybody and just wishing they just change their lifestyle for good. Even at that stage, even if they change their lifestyle, things are going to get so much better for them. And this is like, yeah, this is the only way out. I really am glad you guys are here to learn more about it. And really, I mean, I hope you can use this wisdom to change for the better. So next slide. So medical cost involved with diabetes, we don't really, I mean, like this is just everybody knows about it, the cost of insulin, cost of continuous testing, then the hospitalization cost for any kind of complications. It's like diabetes is the bread and butter of feeding corporate hospitals. The more people are diagnosed with diabetes, the more money these corporate hospitals will be making because of the complication rates go up. So just a overview of like how in rupee as well as with US dollars. In US, it's even higher because, you know, the dollar conversion, and then every hospitalization, it's like it goes up multiple times. It's exponential. So for labs, they're going to charge you like 1,500 just to get a hemoglobin A1C, a basic CBC, and to check your kidney functions. And then the medication for diabetes is like 380 rupees. I think this is just a basic one. This is only for oral medications, but then there are newer medications that came out, and also for insulin. I think this is just a basic one, but it's going to be in thousands. Medications for comorbid conditions, if they are diagnosed with diabetes, like heart failure or coronary artery disease, then it exponentially increases. And one hospitalization for one day, it's like 7,800 rupees. And doctor consultation just to visit in order to get your insulin levels, titrated up, or to get your sugar levels controlled, it's like 2,000. So this one, all these things could be just avoided, and then the cost can be saved just by implementing few laws of nature and taking care of ourselves. It's as simple as that. You'll be like, after you go through this program, you'll be like, wow, this is that simple, and it's going to be life-changing if you really take control of this. So next slide. So as we are more and more younger people, everybody knows about it. Like this is not anything that we are hiding. So rise in younger, more and more younger people are being affected by metabolic syndrome. How many of you have seen like these young people who kind of like, you know, have these kind of odd hours of work? They work day and night or night and day, and then they start packing up fat in their abdomen, which is called as one of the features of metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance. They kind of like gain weight exponentially. Like you have seen them like 2 years ago, and then they start a new job in some sort of a firm, which is mostly like a desk job. And then after 2 years, you see them and they have gained significant amount of weight or something or the other. And then they started having pigmentation, like I described, acanthosis nigricans, and they look fatigued, tired. And then after a few years down the lane, they come back and tell you, oh, I'm taking medications for diabetes. Doctor told me I have diabetes. This is like very common. Like every other person we meet who moved to urban areas and who are in this setting, they are diagnosed with it. So, right, this is a lifestyle disease. This is not hereditary, or this is not passed down from generations or through parents. So people below 45 years of age, it has become common. You can see the percentage of like, you know, how it's coming up: diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and thyroid. This has become the normal cycle of toxemia or these modern day diseases. So if you look at the next picture, you see what they're doing. They order a takeout, or they stop at a fast food. They just quickly gobble up. Then they run to their firm, sit at the desk job, and then constant amount of video gaming or whatever they do as free time, without any sun, without any movement. This is like meant to happen. And then 10 years down the lane, they end up with these complications. And this has become the norm of whatever consultations we are getting. And it just a simple change in their lifestyle would really like help them to reverse this whole situation and not be dependent on medications and not undergo these complications and the surgical procedures and all. Next slide. So what is the cause of diabetes in the younger population in India? I think I maybe went over it. If you guys can chime in the chat section, that's also fine. So why do you think we are seeing more and more number of people being diagnosed with diabetes? What do you think is contributing to them? So this has been, lot of it has been attributed, it's 100%. I'm not going to even cover it up or just say, sugarcoat it and say why it's happening, but it's 100% related to their lifestyle. Saurabh is saying junk food, sugary drinks, processed foods. Yes, the SAD diet, that's what we call it as. It's a standard American diet. I'm going to explain to you more about the diet, but remember, SAD, standard American diet, that's what we call it. This is attributed 100% to their lifestyle. So experts are, so this is just a notes from one of the WHO or from a news channel saying why there it's on a rise. So next slide. So so this is SAD diet, the one that we are showing with French fries and then burger. How many of you never ever had this kind of a food before? Like never touched a burger, never touched French fries, or never went to McDonald's or any of those like fast food places? I have been to them. I mean, I'm not going to, I have been to them. I'm not going to like even cover it up or lie about it. But how many of you have never been to any of those? So this is a standard American diet. That's what it is. So this is rich in fat. It's filled up with all kinds of trans fats, sugar, pure sugar, not even like, like a glucose or any of this. It's just sugar in the form of cane sugar. And then the refined flour, wheat flour, or any kind of flours that they're using. And it's basically devoid of low in fiber. There is no fiber in them. So as soon as you eat it, it just goes to your liver, kind of like makes your liver go into a toxic state. And then the whole entire body goes into a toxic state. So it's all related to toxemia. So, and then the sedentary lifestyle, of course, we all have desk jobs. We have zero movement. And then once we come home, we are so tired from working with this monotonous lifestyle. We just want another getaway. So we turn on the TV or we start ending up with playing, video games or something like that. And then a total disconnect from nature. We don't have proper working hours, we don't have proper amount of sun exposure, and then just work has become a part of our life. So that's a disconnect from nature and from natural laws. So this are all things built up as toxemia. So now I'm going to introduce you to the most famous word of nature cures. It's toxemia. Toxemia is the one that is the leading cause, is the only one cause of disease. So you name it anything, you call it hypertension, it's toxemia. You call it coronary artery disease, it's toxemia that has advanced. You call it diabetes, it's toxemia. You call it hypothyroidism, it's toxemia. So toxemia is the root cause of everything that goes on. See, when we are living, each and every cell uses the inputs in the form of amino acids that you give, sugars, or anything that you give in order to build and repair. So whenever you're building and repair, there is always some amount of waste matter. Imagine building a house, there is always some waste matter, no matter how careful you are with how you build. So the waste matter needs to be disposed of. Either you find a dumpster to dispose it off, or you take it to a dumpster to dump it off. So the same thing happens with the body too. If you're living and breathing and working and doing things, you always have some amount of waste matter, which is in the form of toxins. We always have a way to either kidneys or lungs or skin, they excrete out all these toxins. What if we just keep on building and we never get a time to clear these waste products, which are nothing but the metabolic waste? So what happens? Our body is just swimming in a slurry of toxins. So that's what happens. It's the external toxins and the internal toxins, and then the body not having enough time to let go these toxins is a root cause of all these problems. It's as simple as that. And people in allopathy write textbooks about it, and then they memorize it, they do all these things, and then they end up with all these tests and the medications. Nothing works because They never address the root cause of problem, which is toxemia. So I hope I'm clear about this. This is a short session. So toxemia is a root cause. So I want everybody who come to this program and who are done with this program to understand what toxemia is. That's the root cause of any kind of disease. Depending upon which organ is weak, it affects it. In diabetes, each and every cell is floating in slurry of toxins. So that's the reason why you have these issues. Next slide. So in Nature Cure's perspective, whatever I explained just now, so toxins build disease. You name it anything you want to, but it's all toxins that are built up. So it's our toxins. These are built up within us. So how do we manage them? We take care of our own toxins. We don't blame it on our ancestors and that they passed on through the genes, or we don't blame it on our neighbors because of their toxins. It's our toxins, so we need to let them go. So unhealthy lifestyle builds up toxins. Toxemia manifests in the form of a disease. So body always works in a manner of, it always wants it to be healthy as well as happy. So only thing we need to do for the body is to give it time and space in order for the body to clear out these toxins. So always we have all these built-in mechanisms in order to clear toxins. So we don't have to give body any kind of additional tools or anything. Only thing it needs is the right inputs and time and space to clear these toxins. That's all the body needs. Body is self-healing and self-maintaining with the right amount of inputs. So toxemia is the first thing you guys need to understand. The next thing you need to understand is about the self-healing and self-repairing properties and self-maintaining properties of the body. We are born to stay healthy and happy. There is nothing anybody can do to destroy it. Only thing we are doing is we are doing it ourselves to destroy that by creating too much toxins in our system. So I hope I'm clear on these two slides, because these are the two essential slides that you all need to understand how you're going to tackle your, like, any kind of diseases that you have, which includes diabetes too. So if you want, I can explain again, but you have to understand, don't worry about a herb, don't worry about a medication, don't worry about what is going on about a superfood like moringa or berry juice powder or beetroot powder or anything. But the thing is, you need to understand where the toxins are coming from and how you need to let those toxins out. It's the same thing like how you, like a plumbing in the house. If the plumbing in the house breaks or if it's blocked, what happens? Everything packs up into the sink and then into the kitchen. The same thing is happening. When we are not letting out these toxins out, when there is a block in the plumbing of the system in the body, this is what happens. The toxins leak into the thyroid, leak into the pancreas, leak at the cellular level. Then there's going to be a huge big mess in the body. Next slide. So here we have a very nice video on toxemia and then the self-healing and maintaining properties of body, and body how we are set up in order to stay happy and healthy. So to take a look at it, it's about less than a minute. So I'm going to quickly go over these stages of diseases, that's the third important thing that we need to learn about Nature Cure's perspective of disease, okay? So stage 1 is innervation. Innervation is like we are kind of, we are fatigued and we are not giving enough time for the body to let out the toxins. Like every day we are working, we are not taking enough rest, or every day we are eating too much of fast foods, and then we are not providing the right inputs. So more and more wastes are accumulating in the system. So as these toxins keep building up, the body is going to feel really sluggish, and then we are going to be like fatigued all the time. So what do most of the people do when they're fatigued? They go get some coffee or they drink a soda like a Coke or something, and then the caffeine kicks in and then the fatigue disappears. But then did we take care of these toxins that are built up? No, we have never taken care of these toxins that are just swimming in the system. Then builds up the system of called as toxemia, which is nothing but it manifests in the form of high blood pressure, thyroid issues, or diabetes like pattern. And then comes the stage of irritation where the toxins are so high in the system. Again, we are suppressing it with more coffee as well as more medications. So they are circulating in the system. Then what happens is the body tries to let them out somehow, and then it lets out through the skin or lets out in the form of through the lungs or through the kidneys. In the skin, it forms like an eczema like condition. If it is through the kidneys, then it forms up with an urinary infection or something like that. Then comes the stage of inflammation is like once the eczema is there, then what happens is the body forms an ulcer around it. It forms redness and all this, and then forms the ulceration, induration, and then it slowly progresses to a stage of cancer. Cancers don't build up overnight. Like I'm sure I have heard many people say, oh, like this so and so has been diagnosed with cancer. He has had a healthy life, but then all of a sudden overnight he developed a cancer. They don't. They build up as a process of as we keep on accumulating toxins. We neglect the stage of innervation. When we are fatigued, we kind of like give more coffee to the system to perk it up. Then we build up diabetes. Then slowly it progresses to a stage of cancers. A lot of diabetes patients at one stage or the other, like 10, 20 years down the lane, after they have been put on medications and everything, they do end up with cancers. So it's just because we never address this toxin buildup. One at a level, as steps it builds up, these toxins go to a point like the body can't even tolerate them anymore. It stores them away in the form of cancers. It's as simple as that. Things don't happen overnight, and we are not that innocent. That's what I want to tell you. We keep on abusing the body to a point that it can't take it anymore, and it hides them in the form of a cancer. So these are the three most essential things. Toxemia, it's all toxemia related, 100% toxemia related. Body is built to be happy and healing. It's always self-repairing and maintaining, so we just need to give it time and space. And then the stages of disease. This is all three things that you need to understand today from our program. Next slide. Okay, the myths about diabetes. How many times have you heard? Diabetes is pretty much hereditary. Oh, my father had diabetes, my mother had diabetes, so I'm also going to be diabetic. So no matter what I do, I'm going to be diabetic. So that's the number one thing. Even my very own mother, her dad was diabetic. And then she's always in the thing that, oh, she's going to have diabetes. All her cousins have diabetes. All her siblings have, I don't know what they have, but anyway. So, but she takes this teeny tiny pill of diabetes medicines, which is like 250 milligrams of metformin. I keep telling her, you don't have diabetes, you're not prone. But she's like stuck in that myth that she has hereditary causes of diabetes and she's going to be diabetic for more. And then diabetes cannot be cured. That's a big, huge myth. Nobody has to be labeled diabetic forever. It's if you're on allopathic medications, yes, you're going to be on diabetes medicines forever. But if you go on to nature cures, adopt natural ways, you're not going to be labeled diabetes. You're going to get back your health. You're going to be free of medications at any point, and it's all reversible. At least any stage it can be reversible. It's normal to get diabetes as one ages. It's always like we all heard these myths, right? This is very common. Like I keep hearing this all the time in my family circles. And then the most important thing is fruits cause diabetes, and diabetic patients stay away from fruits. That's one huge myth. Actually, fruits are the ones that help body to let go these toxins and help reverse majority of these conditions. So we're going to show you how you can heal yourself using fruits in diabetes. And diabetics need to be constantly eating round the clock because their sugars are going to be up and down, and then they're fed 3 or 4 meals a day. If you really look at any kind of corporate programs that they give to the nutritionist or the dietitian gives around, it's like morning breakfast, and then in between they have a snack with the Murray biscuits, and then again a lunch, and then another snack again. So they're constantly eating. Every 2 or 3 hours their mouth is working, the digestive system is working. That's not how we heal. Constantly eating is the root cause. Constantly eating round the clock is the root cause of all these problems that we are facing. So these are the myths we really need to take care of and then bust the bubble. I hope you guys need to either screenshot this or keep these guidelines with you, because it's very important. So next slide. So reversal is a reality. So Wellcure has multiple articles and testimonials. These, whenever you read these, you really fill yourself with inspiration, as well as you feel like going and hugging these people. As a doctor, I really want to, every time I see them, I really have tears in my eyes. I'm just overwhelmed with so many emotions. These are like my teachers, actually, because they teach us how they have done it, how well they can do it with a little bit of discipline, little bit of information, and little bit of education and hand holding. So all these testimonials are there on Wellcure. Wellcure has a very well organized website. If you want to go over there, read about it, then you have articles, on healing, then nature cure articles, as well as recipes, simple recipes. This is all you need. You don't need a doctor's visit. You just need to go visit Wellcure website and take care of your health. So try to take some time, read over these testimonials, including my testimonial. I have written on my story on their blog. So if you were curious about my journey, or if you want to know more about me, it's pretty much open there. So take time, please browse through the website. Ishita, you want me to go over these, or this is enough?
Yeah. So, Dr.
Okay.
Prashanthi, actually, just an announcement for everyone that I've already shared the link in the chat where you can click and you can read each of their individual stories of reversal, how it was for them. And I'm sure everyone, we can see in the chat section, everyone's so eager to also understand how they can start with the whole detox process, how they can start eliminating toxins out of the body. And before we go further with the session and understand the key steps towards healing that we will be sharing for you to start your reversal journey, at this point I would like to take a moment and also take you all through the personal coaching program, in case you are someone who needs a more personalized guidance on the management and reversal of diabetes. So it's going to be with Dr. Prashanthi. And basically what we will be working with is incorporating the concept of nature cure and incorporating the 5 elements, uh, tackling the root cause and having a holistic approach, which includes both your physical as well as mental health, which will ultimately help you get over medications, injections, and protect you from other lifestyle diseases as well. Um, so the programs are going to be, including guidance on plant-based cooking, plant-based eating, full of healthy recipes, diet and lifestyle action plans, as well as WhatsApp support, because we understand that there could be questions which you could have, and also any kind of doubts or queries will be resolved via a support group. And what to expect after the diabetes reversal coaching? Obviously, because we are aiming at eliminating out toxins, automatically the blood sugars are going to be normal, HbA1c levels are going to be reduced, any kind of extra weight, toxins are going to be eliminated out, and your weight will come under the, weight management will happen. And also, of course, we are looking at getting over medications and insulin injections. All right. So, the first one is, basically a one telephone consultation call for 30 minutes, which is going to include the assessment of food habits as well as a customized diet plan for diabetes reversal. And for each of this, what we will do is we will share the links as well. So even if, you want to revisit it, or you want to have a look at the detailed aspects of what will be included, you can check out the links. There's also a 1 month plan. So if you need a more, if you want to take it further and wish to have a more detailed approach to your healing process, then you can go for the 1 month plan, which is going to include 3 live video sessions, along with, food and lifestyle assessment, the diet and lifestyle action plan, natural therapies, as well as, of course, the email or WhatsApp support will be there. Apart from this, there will also be 2 bonus, things which you will be getting. That is the 50 natural recipes ebook, as well as access to the guided videos, because this will help you understand how you should be cooking and eating and modifying, your eating habits. And we also have another option. So in case any of you wish to join a group coaching program, we will be organizing it between the 15th of Jan. So it's going to start on 15th of Jan. It's going to be there till 15th of Feb. And this is basically going to be in groups. So, there will be again 3 live calls. WhatsApp support will be there every day between Monday to Saturday for 1 hour. You will be getting guidance on food, lifestyle, as well as therapies, along with the recipe ebook. I'll be putting links for all of this in the chat for you to have a look. And if there are any questions or doubts, you can always get in touch with us. All right. Okay, I'm going to hand the session to you, Dr. Prashanthi. Thank you.
Yeah. So today, since the session is about a short session and we're going to just explain to you, we're going to give you like few tools in order to start the reversal process. So getting started on the healing journey, there are multiple steps we're going to go through. Most of it is like incorporating natural elements, as well as eating species-specific diet and following a proper rhythm. So that's all we are going to do in these programs, but it needs some hand-holding, some amount of information exchange, and lots of education. That's where we are going to be playing a key role in. Everything is going to be done by you. It's going to be just education that we're going to provide and motivation that you need. So and making you understand. See, if you know what the root causes and what the basics are, I think implementing them and changing the mindset and opening up our mind is the most important part of this whole reversal process of toxemia. So main step is cutting. So most, as I said before, it's a standard American diet, the SAD diet, high in fat, high in protein, and worthless complex carbohydrates with very low fiber. So we're going to eliminate that kind of a diet and make more modify the diet towards more species-specific diet, which includes mostly fruits, mostly fruits and vegetables with some greens and little bit of grain that we can handle. And then cutting down on all kinds of unhealthy sources of fat, which we're going to explain now, and then start exercising regularly in order to improve your insulin sensitivity. So decreasing insulin resistance, as well as quitting dairy. Dairy is the #1 cause. Increasing dairy intake is also one of the causes of this tsunami of diabetes, if you want to call it. So next slide. So then Dr. Jocelyn at Diabetic Center, he made this a conclusion in 1927 itself. And what we are almost like 100 years past that, almost there, right? 5 years less than that. And we are still still trying to look for a root cause. We're still medicating patients for diabetes and not even trying to fix their diet. So what he said is, I believe the chief cause of premature atherosclerosis in diabetes, save for advancing age, is an excess amount of fat, an excess of fat in the body, which is obesity, and an excess of fat in the diet, and an excess of fat in the blood. With an excess of fat, diabetes begins, and from an excess of fat, diabetics die, formerly of coma and recently of atherosclerosis. That's the basic of this. So what every animal source has fat in it, and then they are the ones number one cause of these issues at the cellular level. So let's next slide. So high fat diets need to be shunned. So some of you, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about keto diet. So you may have heard about keto diet or something or the other, like a paleo diet or a Mediterranean diet or something or the other. There are a number of diets that come across. So we just try to understand. I want to explain to you a little bit about this. So whenever somebody goes on a keto diet, you see some results. You see their sugar levels coming down, or you see their weight come down. Weight is the most important thing. But then what happens is they are on a high fat diet. At some point or the other, the cells are really going to be choking full of these fats, and they stop functioning. So after 3 or 4 years on a keto diet, we see most of these patients, they can't sustain it. They end up with some complication or the other. That's number one. Why do you see these results in these patients, either whatever diet they kind of do? Because they cut down on fast foods. They make some conscious changes, even adding a little bit of fruits and vegetables, little bit more than what they were doing in the past itself will show significant amount of results. That's why we see some results initially. But then these results are not sustainable in the long run, because at the cellular level, the cells are choking in fat. So we're going to explain to you what happens with too much of fat at cellular level with the help of Dr. Bernard's lecture. It's a less than a 2-minute one. Slide, please.
Back in 1980, about 100 million people in the world had diabetes, and by 2014, that number was over 400 million, and it's headed up toward 700 million or even higher. The answer is to take a look at what's going on inside the cells of the body. This is a muscle cell, and insulin, which you have naturally in your blood, attaches to the surface of the cell, just like a key attaching into a lock. That then signals little channels to bring glucose out of the blood into the cell. And there it goes. The problem is you also have beef fat, chicken fat, pork fat, fryer grease building up inside the cell. And just like chewing gum in a lock means the key won't work, that fat stops the insulin from being able to work properly. The answer, get the animal products out of your diet. No meat, no dairy, no eggs, and keep the oils really low. That'll go a long way toward preventing this disease.
Yeah, so don't fall for the myths of keto diets and then these coconut oil myths and all those things, because they are not sustainable in the long run. They don't take care of toxemia at cellular level, and people progress on to build up with coronary atherosclerosis, heart attacks, and all those things. So coconut oil and then all these myths about each and every diet is kind of like it's a myth, and we just need to go back to species specific diet. So when the populations of people following on starch-based, it's rice, corn, potatoes, sweet potatoes, etc., switch to rich foods of meat, dairy products, added oil, the food, they become overweight, they develop diabetes, and then they develop heart disease, breast, prostate, colon cancers, gallbladder disease, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and everything happens when we switch our diets from plant-based towards more and more animal product-based. And then the more complex we make them with all kinds of these sad diet paths, our health becomes a havoc. The major cost for United States is the healthcare, and then the healthcare could be only easily fixed if they change their diets. No government, no corporation wants us to do this. It's us as people, as public, as general population need to be aware of this, and we have to make conscious changes. Next slide. So unhealthy sources of fat, animal meats, or any kind of animal products, any kind of refined oils or any oil, cold pressed, even the cold pressed oil, to please stay away from oil. We are going to help you in order to, with the help of our programs, in order to go oil free and take care of this excess amount of fat burning as well as the fat toxicity in the cellular level, in order to help you reverse your diabetes. And of course, butter, margarine, and everything, you all know these are high fat products. That's where the problem begins. Cells swimming and choking up in their own fat. Next slide. So exercise to be included. Exercise is pretty much a very important part. It improves circulation, it improves lymphatic movement. So toxins, so good blood circulation takes good amount of repair and everything, and then the toxins move out with the help of lymphatic circulation. So exercise improves blood glucose control in type 2 diabetes, as well as reduces cardiovascular risk factors and helps in weight loss, as well as toning up our body and the system, and also makes us feel a whole lot better because the circulation improves, toxins move out, so we start feeling a whole lot better. So regular exercise may help or prevent delayed type 2 diabetes, and also helps in considerable health benefits in type 1 diabetes too. So type 1 diabetes is the one where it is insulin dependent, like the pancreas is not functioning well. So the pancreas is not able to secrete enough amount of insulin. That's why sugar levels go up. So the toxicity is all over, but the pancreas is the one that's taking the burden of toxicity. Most of our type 1 diabetes are in children and in young population like teens and all of them. And then as we age further and further, toxemia builds up, and then we end up with adults end up with type 2 diabetes, where there is plenty. The pancreas is working super hard in order to produce lots and lots of insulin, but then the cells are swimming in their own toxins and swimming in their own fats, but they're not able to use this insulin. So the pancreas insulin levels rise up, but then the cells can't use it because there are toxins. That's type 2 diabetes. But for everything, for nature cures, type 1 or type 2, you can call it, label it anything, but the root cause is toxemia. It's the metabolic waste, as well as the internal as well as the external toxins that are building up in our systems. So exercise is very important. So in addition to diet, we need to incorporate exercise too, but it depends upon patient to patient. It has to be tailored up, because if there is a patient who has significant amount of peripheral neuropathy, their feet and hands are burning in fire, they won't be able to exercise well. So we have to start from basics like movements with the help of yoga, some decent amount of Surya Namaskaras, and then we can proceed on to different forms of exercise in them. So pick simple exercise that suits your body, whatever it is. But the thing is, don't force your body. Don't go on saying, oh, my doctor told me to exercise for 45 minutes, even though you feel like you're about to fall down, or your muscles are aching, your joints are hurting. Don't force yourself that kind of exercises. Don't look at the clock. Listen to your body and pick what your body is liking and do that. So some people can do walking, do it, but do a little bit of movement of all kinds of joints too. It is important for circulation to improve and the lymphatics, the waste to drain out. So that's important. So swimming is a choice for some people. So do it as needed. But again, listen to your body. Don't do it in a state of dehydration. Most of our cells, when we are in toxic slurry, are dehydrated. So make sure you're hydrated enough and you exercise decently well. And do not over exercise without hydration, which can be dangerous. So take it at a slow pace. Don't just do one element, like eat whatever you want to do and think that you can exercise and get it out. It doesn't work that way. It has to be all the elements put together very well. That's when you find healing, and that's when you start feeling better. Next slide. So dairy is most important part. We're going to, like, animal milk is not for human consumption. It's not. Milk is species specific. So human milk is for human babies. Cow milk is for baby calves. Goat milk is for goats. So that's what it is, because the protein, the fat, the hormones, everything is tailored according to the needs of that species. For example, if you take a cow, okay, it's breastfeeding its own calf. So in 6 months from now, if you look at the the calf is almost as big as the cow. But for humans, our babies don't grow at that pace. A 6-month-old human baby will be only this size, not as big as a cow. So the fat and the proteins are entirely different. So our system, our digestion is not built in to handle those proteins and fats. This is number one thing that we all need to understand. Forget about veganism, forget about, being nice to animals or anything. The thing is, be nice to your body. Feed it what is needed to your body. Don't go after all these myths about, oh, cow milk is good for calcium or for protein or for growth. We are not supposed to be growing the size or at a faster pace like how calves grow. So type 1 diabetes is mostly cow milk protein allergy. That's what even allopathy says it. That's what we learned it in med school too. So infants who are fed on cow's milk, because of the protein that's entirely different, it kind of creates a havoc on the system. So it kind of creates toxicity in the system. And then that's when the infants or children or teens end up developing type 1 diabetes. So infants who are fed at cow milk and who are not properly breastfed for enough amount of time, at an early age when they transition to cow milk, they are more likely to develop type 1 diabetes. This is very well known across the board. So it's better to stay away from any kind of animal milks at this point, because we know enough about the amount of damage that dairy products or drinking other species milk can do to our body. Cancers are on the rise, and then diabetes is on the rise, toxemia, everything. We know it all is related to consuming other animal products as well, which is mostly milk. Even though you say vegetarian people are all, their diabetes, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease is on the rise because they're consuming more and more amount of dairy products these days. Next slide. So insulin is a hormone. We all know pancreas secretes insulin. Diabetes is a hormone disorder. It's a toxemia, but it's at the level of hormonal level. So milk secretion of female, this is all loaded with hormones. And so cows are, when you really look at industrial dairy farming, it's really a bad situation. They feed them with lots of antibiotics because they're not properly taken care of and they're prone for infection. So that's where you get all these superbugs and everything from antibiotic resistance from. Then they keep milking these pregnant cows. That's where they harm, like the estrogen, progesterone, and everything that's circulating in them is circulating into our system too. So that's the reason for early puberty in children, early breast development in children, like, a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, you already see them developing breasts. They are attaining their first period, their menarche by 10, 9-year-old. It has become a common situation. This is not normal. Children are supposed to attain menarche around the age of 15 to 16. The more the animal products they are consuming, the more quicker their breast development, huge breast development, massive amount of weight gain, and then these puberty changes and everything are happening in them. It's the hormones that are being circulated. Then it's linked to many hormonal disorders like PCOD, hypothyroidism, premature puberty, infertility, breast, prostate, and ovarian cancers, and diabetes. So it's very well known. Diabetes type 1 and type 2. So let's see, frequently asked questions, diabetes type 1 and type 2. So we explained to you about what is type 1, what is type 2. It's at the level, toxemia at the level of pancreas, toxemia at the level of cells. So can both diabetes, can type 1 and type 2 be the reverse? So for type 1, it depends upon how long they have been type 1 for. But the thing is, we can help them a whole lot so that their insulin levels don't go up, their complications from diabetes don't go up. So Nature Cure has an answer for diabetes type 1 too. But for type 1, it's kind of like a tricky situation. How much the pancreas has been damaged, how much we can recover, it all depends upon how much discipline and how long they've been diabetics type 1 for. For type 2, yes, the reversal is 100% possible. It depends upon you, your discipline, and how much you want to do for your body and how much you want to get away from medications. That's all it is. That's all it takes for a type 2 to reverse the diabetes. How much time does it take for reversal? It depends. So as I showed you, stages of toxemia, it depends upon what stage of toxemia you're in. We can reverse it, but take some time, take some perfection, take some amount of motivation and guidelines from you. I've been on medication for long as I know. For reversal, is the reversal possible for me? Yes, of course, reversal is 100% possible. And we can work with you one-on-one or in group messages, but it helps you a whole lot. It helps with weight loss. It helps with reducing the number of medications. And one day you will be totally free of medications. How do I manage sugar spikes after shifting to a clean diet? It needs some hand holding, but the sugar spikes are not going to be really violent as most of you are fearing at this point. Once you're on a clean diet, your body is going to start thanking you, and then the hormones and everything stop fluctuating. So it's not going to be as drastic or as terrible as what you're thinking. It all takes a little bit of, education and hand holding, and you're going to be on your own track, taking care of this yourself. Next slide.
Yeah, so if there are any questions, then we can take up the questions now. You can put them in the chat.
Yeah, I got a little emotional talking about it. I'm almost teary, but let's see. We have a lot of questions here. I'm going to go over one by one, and please send in your questions depending upon what you want to ask us. I'll be happy to answer them. So Dr. Parmeshwari is asking, skin tags, you mean warts as early signs of insulin resistance? Yes, any kind of skin issues, warts or acanthosis nigricans or moles are an initial sign of toxemia. Toxemia is a sign of insulin resistance. So these are all important signs of toxemia. So Srimant is asking, my 6.5-year-old boy is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes few weeks back. He's on insulin since then. How can this be reversed? Well, I need to get detailed history of, I'm sorry to hear this, but help is on the way. Srimant, it's not easy for a 6.5-year-old, and it's not, I can understand what you're going through at this point. But you can take one-on-one guided help, and we can see what we can do, or through a group sessions. We have few moms whose children have been diagnosed with type 1 in our groups. And with the help of education, with the help of dietary changes, they were able to do only little, the sugar levels are not going up and down a whole lot. And also the insulin requirements are not that high. So they need to tweak their diet even more. But since since your son has been just diagnosed, maybe we can reverse the cause, and also with the help of nature cure programs, we can help you to decrease or drastically cut down the complication rate, because the rate of eye issues, kidney issues, and multiple things go up as the more they're exposed to insulin. So yeah, please work with us. Let's see what we can do. Next question is, my daughter is diagnosed with type 1 again. She's 7 years. Can it be reversed? She's on insulin. Yeah, as I said, we have few moms who are already on the program and who we are helping out with. So we have to do in one-on-one in order to see what their insulin requirements are, what their blood sugars are doing, what their diet has been, what their vaccination rate has been. So the more the amount of vaccinations, the more amount of chances of ending up with type 1 diabetes. The more the dairy exposure as a child, as a baby, their chances of type 1 diabetes goes up. So I need a detailed history from birth, as well as mother's health and father's health and all of this, in order to pinpoint what happened and how we can tailor it down. Saurabh is saying, I have high cholesterol and diabetes issues, looking for natural nature cure for both. Thank you for the session. So yes, Saurabh, I know you very well. So I mean, we're going to talk, I mean, I've been posting multiple things in the group that we both are in about diet and everything. Even if you can implement a little bit of a dietary changes by cutting down on dairy products, cutting down on all animal products and oils, and adding more and more fresh fruits and vegetables to your system, as well as more exercise. In the form of walking, gardening is the best kind of exercise anybody can do. You're going to get sun, you're going to get decent amount of movement, as well as grounding by touching ground. All these things can be done. You're very young, and I see no reason for you to be on a medication at any point. I gave you enough tools. It's you who has to implement it. And I know you very well, and you have to do it for your sake as well as for children's sake. So Saurabh is talking about sad diet is nothing but junk food, sugary drinks, and processed foods. What is the root cause of type 1 diabetes? Root cause of type 1 diabetes is toxemia at the level of pancreas. Pancreas is in a state of shock. So that's what happens. It doesn't secrete enough insulin. So that's what happens. And then the cells won't be able to function well. So Rohit is asking, what are the right conditions apart from eating right, going for walks every day? Enough sunlight, plenty of sunlight, fresh air, watching what you're eating, following intermittent fasting so that you have decent amount of time to let out the toxins. So that's it. That's all it takes to stay healthy: eating right, doing enough exercise, and enough amount of sun. How about cancer seen in babies and toddlers too? It's toxemia that's passed on from generations. We don't pass on, so we call whatever we call it as genetic, or whatever we call it as hereditary, is nothing but toxins that have been accumulating from generation to generations, that have been passed on to babies and toddlers. And a high amount of vaccinations, poor rate of poor eating, poor state of health by the parents. If they were on sad diet, they pass on the toxemia. Here we see a lot of babies and toddlers with cancers. So that's one of the main reasons, is their grandparents, their parents, they never had a proper lifestyle. So that's been passed on in the form of cancers to their babies and toddlers. How do we remove toxins? As I said, by eating right, by enough sun, by following decent amount of exercising, and sunlight. Sunlight is the key. One of the key components of removing toxins. So we have done multiple programs on detoxing. So if anybody is interested, you can sign up for more in those detox programs, or we can do any other programs that we have on Wellcure. How do we detox our body? By eating right, by living right, by following all natural rhythms, and enough sunlight. So Amarjit is asking, if hemoglobin A1C is 6.7, how much fruit quantity to eat daily? There is no quantity of fruit that we can eat. We can eat as much as you want until you are satisfied with your hunger. You can eat a big bowl of fruit and you can call it a lunch. You can eat a big bowl of fruit and satisfy your hunger and call it a breakfast. It's never the fruits that made a person diabetic. It's the high animal fat and the protein and the dairy products and high grain diet. That's the one that's the leading cause of diabetes. Fruits don't make us diabetic. Fruit sugars are simple. They are easily used by the cell even without the need for insulin. That's how good fruit sugars are. So don't worry about fruit sugars. So Ishita has shared the link. This link is very important. Please go through this. Can this be done during pregnancy? Of course, yes. Pregnancy also, all of us need to eat healthy and right during pregnancy. That's how we'll have a healthy outcome of our pregnancy. Where will you share the link? Do we get daily diet plans and monthly plan? Yeah, it depends upon what you're seeking help asking us. We're going to post basically what we eat every day, and also we send out some plans, so we can do that. And then which oil should be used? No oil is always good. Don't use any kind of oil. I just have a little bit of avocado oil at home that I use as a drop, one drop, to just shine my iron tawa whenever I'm doing oil-free dosa or any kind of parathas. One drop. That little bit of oil, I've been using it for the past 3 years and it hasn't dropped a bit. So no oil is the best oil. So coupon code, coach, substitute for cow milk, please. Plant-based, is it almond milk? Yeah, almond milk or cashew milk or coconut milk can be used, but I think we need to get away from the mindset of having some milk in the house. We can talk more about it in the group sessions. Is there any proven literature for type 2 reversal is 100%? Of course, our testimonials on Wellcure, please check them out. Go through each and individual one of them, and we can share more links on whole food plant-based diet and where type 2 reversal has taken place. You can Google and look up China's study, the most famous study that has been done on whole food plant-based diets. Why do people with diabetes get diabetes during COVID time? Well, it depends upon COVID and diabetes. Both are nothing but toxemia. So that's what happened. And also when they were treating people with COVID, they loaded them with antibiotics, steroids, and then the multiple new experimental drugs, which can add more to toxemia, which can tip the patients who were already toxic into diabetes. How to gain weight, ma'am? Lost so much weight. I need to know more about your situation, Bala, to understand what is happening with you. So yeah, need more details. Is itching kind of diabetic symptoms? Yes, it is, because remember the stages of disease from innervation, toxemia, then all these stages. So irritation, skin is dumping out all the toxins because you're swimming in a slurry of toxins. That's when it happens. So the itching happens because of the acids in the system. How to lose weight? Again, we need more details. Lost weight 10 kilos in this insulin resistance or any other diabetes. I need more details. I don't know what to say. Harpreet is saying, ma'am, my 2-year-old has been diagnosed with type 1. He's on insulin. Is there any stem cell therapy treatment done for permanent cure? I need more details on this, Harpreet. I can't just say what stem cells. I don't know much success on these stem cell therapies and all these things. But if you want, I can talk to you one-on-one. But we can help you with his diet and everything so that he's so young. Maybe we can reverse it too. We'll see what we can do. Okay, Saurabh is saying, thank you, ma'am. Look forward to speaking with you soon for discuss further. Of course, Saurabh, I'm always available. And you have the tools with you in the group that we are in together. So you just need to implement them. Harpreet is saying he is on insulin. Is there same thing? How can we reverse PCOD? Of course, PCOD is nothing but insulin resistance. So the same things, cutting down on zeroing on animal products, no fats, eating more fruits and vegetables, that's the way to go. Can a diabetes person eat banana and rice? Let's talk one-on-one because these are high starch foods. So we don't start anybody who is detoxing on high starch diet, but slowly we can implement later on once they are detox. Occasionally they can do this. Even with the banana too, we can talk more about it. But you need, when you're detoxing, you're going to eat more watery, rich fruits and vegetables rather than high starch ones. Ma'am, how about flu vaccination that's given to kids every year? Do they have? Of course, all of them have ill effects. Do not take any kind of toxins because it's a huge another topic, but understand the basics of what is flu, what is a vaccination. Then you're going to understand if it's necessary or not. And then how about organic milk products? It's the one and the same. As I explained to you before, each milk of a species is species specific. Cow's milk is for calf. Human milk is for human. The protein, the fat, and the other lipid content and everything, the sugars are entirely different. Milk has to be species specific, just like how we eat species specific diet. No matter what they want to label it as organic milk, camel milk, A2 milk, these are not meant for human consumption. Weight gain is also an indicator. Of course, weight gain increases insulin resistance. That's the herald for metabolic syndrome. Stevia is okay, or stevia is, look for natural ones because stevia is natural, I agree. But the thing is, it doesn't have a great taste to it. I mean, not a lot of people like using stevia. And also it's not used at the cellular level. Anything that's not used or recognized by the body as food is considered as a toxin nature cures. So switch to some simple date sugar or something like that. But the thing is, once you get rid of the toxemia, your sugars are not going to spike. So all nuts are okay and quantity. So all nuts are not okay when you're detoxing. We don't do high fat food. Nuts are high fat in nature. So where after your detox, then we can do limited quantity, which is nothing but a handful of nuts, but not, and also they have to be soaked well. So nuts are not okay when you're detoxing. When your sugar levels are spiking up, we don't do it. Balamurgan is saying lost 15 kilos since diagnosed. Now hemoglobin is normal, but not able to gain weight. So it takes, I need more details about what your diet is, what you've been doing on your medications, but it takes some amount of time to build up your weight again. But the thing is, how much were you weighing in the past? If you were height of 5 foot and were 70 kilos, that wasn't your weight. So maybe this is your ideal weight. So I need more details in order to tell you exactly what's going on. How to talk to you 101. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you. Mala is saying, I lost 23 pounds because of diabetic pills. If I stop medication, will I regain that weight? Well, no, I mean, I need more details of this whole situation, like what you're doing to yourself, Mala, like your diet has changed or what you've been doing. So we need to talk more on this. Real me is saying, can I eat milk and eggs in morning? No, 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 no animal products whatsoever. See, you need to change the way you eat. So we can do any kind of group sessions or whatever you guys want to do. But can you, Sushma is asking, can you schedule a session about ill effects of vaccination in kids, please? I'll be happy to do it, but I don't know if Wellcure will let us do that. But we can do one-on-one talks too about it. And I'm very well versed in vaccination side effects and everything. So I can explain to you more, but we'll talk more. How many eggs can we eat in a day? No eggs, no animal products. Animal products are highly protein as well as fat filled. Eggs are just plain cholesterol if you look at it. We don't want you don't want your cells to be swimming in a slurry of fat, because the fats are the ones that increase insulin resistance. So please don't do that. Protein walak, I don't know. Hitesh, I don't understand this language. If anybody can, protein wala khaya kya, ma'am? Protein wala khaya kya, ma'am?
Yeah, I think he's trying to ask what should we eat for protein.
Don't worry, when protein, every plant source that we have, fruits and vegetables, and then little bit of grains that we will be eating in this program will give you right amount of protein, right kind of protein that is needed. Animal proteins are extremely toxic because when you break these animal proteins, the amount of urea and creatinine and everything that's generated as a byproduct of breaking them down, they load up the kidneys, they load up the liver, so they are not good for you. So don't use any animal products when you're detoxing. The animal products are not meant for human consumption. We just got used to it, and then they keep telling us about proteins and fats. Please don't use them. So any other? One last question today. Normally, doctors recommend fish oil as a supplement or omega-3. No, 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 no. Don't use any of these, because you don't give a body any kind of concentrated foods. You eat a natural diet, and then the body will take what it needs from the amount of right amounts, what it needs. But you don't force anything on the body in the form of concentrated fats or omegas or any of them. These are all myths, and we need to get out of those myths. Eat natural. Okay, ma'am, tell me what I eat for morning breakfast. So it depends upon your condition. For your breakfast, after you do intermittent fasting, please eat a big bowl of watery fruit that's local, seasonal, and as much as you can afford organic, please. Is this program only for diabetics? No, toxemia is for every condition. Okay, can we plan diet plan for diabetics? Yes, we can. We can do pretty much everything. Fish is also treated as, of course, fish is an animal. So anything that's living, breathing, and running away from us whenever we are catching is considered as an animal. So all animal products are harmful. At this point, we know enough from science. They don't want us to know more because The more animal products we eat, the more sicker we become. The more sicker we become, the more corporate money they make. So disease and sickness are money makers. So please don't fall for the myths of corporate media. So working every day, tips for acidity. Acidity is nothing but as toxemia itself. When it manifests at the level of stomach, it's called acidity. So it's the same diet plan for you. First of all, cut down on animal products, cut down on spices. Do proper amount of intermittent fasting. Start with fruits and gradually increase the raw intake. We can go do one-on-one help, or you can go check out our past programs. We have multiple recordings of different kind of diet plans, detox plans, and everything. Try to take their help and see what fits your needs. Anything else? Your email or Instagram for me to connect. The Kishu, it can be done through Wellcure. I do only programs through Wellcure. Please suggest from remedies for acidity and frequent hunger. There are no remedies. We just have to see what is causing this acidity and what is this frequent hunger all about. Mr. Reddy is asking, what about multigrain? What multigrain are we talking about at this point? I don't know. But again, grains also have to be limited at this point. Smita is asking, I was given some medicine to remove fat from body, but it caused digestive issues. Oh my God, I don't know what this is, what medication this is. All these things are myths. So we need to get out of this medication burning fats, medication burning protein, or medication losing weight. All these things, they just add more toxicity to the body. They don't help us. It's us. We have to change the lifestyle. There is no magic pill or no remedy for any of these.
So, Dr. Prashanthi, I think, we've overshot with the time, and I think we can conclude. I am dropping in the email ID which people can connect with us with. So I'm just dropping it in the chat box. So if you have any other questions which you wish to ask, or you have any doubts regarding anything, please contact us on healthcoaching@wellcure.com, and we'll be happy to support you, and help you reach your health goals. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for today's session. We are really grateful that you made time, and we hope that you took back, some useful actionables with you, and you start actioning upon it, because that is exactly when you will start seeing differences in your health. If you have anything else, please reach out to us on the email ID. Yes, Dr. Prashanthi, concluding.
Yeah. Just really grateful for Wellcure for giving me this opportunity. And there are 70 participants in here, even if we exclude some of our regular participants. It's really nice to see such a huge turnout. I really hope we were able to bring in some important information to you, and it was helpful for you to implement it. We are here all the time to help you out. But the thing is, please get out of the cycle of thinking that you have sickness, you have diabetes, you have this and that, and get out of the mindset of you need medication for lifelong, because more the medications, the more the long term we take them, the more sicker we become. So please understand this, and I really hope to be of some help to you guys at this point.
So yeah, also a couple of questions regarding whether the recording will be available. So yes, the recording will be available. We will be posting it on Wellcure's YouTube channel. So keep a check on it, and if you are already a part of the WhatsApp group, we'll be sharing it there as well.
Yeah, and Ishita, are there any detox programs? Like, I know recently we had, Asha announced a detox program. If there is any detox program that's upcoming, if you can share the details too in the chat, that'll be helpful. Because
sure.
It looks a lot of people are interested in detox programming, but they don't know where to start and how to take care of themselves. So I think a little bit more education is needed in that regard.
Sure. I'll post the details of it in the chat. And I'll also share the WhatsApp link. I think a few of you have been asking about the WhatsApp group link as well. So both of them, I'll share it in the chat.
Okay, perfect. All right, everybody, take care. Happy healing and healthful journeys. And we wish to hear back from you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.